So I just watched this video from Andrew Tate and Piers Morgan interviewed. Hi, I'm Aaron. In freaking bed. That's right. Who cares? It's about the message, not the medium. Um, I want to say it when it's on my mind. So Piers Morgan interviews again Andrew Tate. That's a little interesting. The second time in a short time. I am a big fan of Andrew Tate, but anyways, nobody's perfect. But this is where so many of these alternative news channels and stations and podcasts and interviews and whatnot, all these commentaries, uh, almost always, if not always, fall short of what I was taught growing up and what I have believed. Um, People just don't go all the way. They go far enough, and Andrew Tate goes pretty far, and he says things quite bluntly, and he goes pretty far in the direction, and that's why he has gotten so much of a reaction that he has. But I still feel that he doesn't go far enough, man. And people would probably just think I'm a total crazy whatever, but I don't care really. Not everyone would think so, but so basically, Pierce, distracted from the bigger points, Andrew was actually going to say, I believe, a little more harshly what his point was about the severity of, what did Pierce say, the difference of opinion that he held, for example, and he here's his little crux of his defense. It's a pathetic crux of his defense, in my opinion, that he was following the scientists that said, oh, vaccination will stop transmission, or whatever other little statements that they said, um, which directed, you know, the world's mandates and tyrannical restrictions on freedoms and, um, the segregation of from society, of part of a population and all this. Okay, so you think that's a defense to just be like, well, scientists said it? No. See, this is where people don't go far enough. You conservatives and you alternatives, you argue these little points that they bring up. Don't argue the points they bring up. The points they bring up are already weak, okay? Or weak enough. They're not all the way strength. So it's who cares? I don't care what scientists say. If a scientist said 100% these people are deadly and they must be eradicated. Okay, are you going to come after me and kill me because I'm unvaccinated? You're going to go after us and jail us or kill us because a scientist said it? And you think, Aaron, that's such a ridiculous example. No, it's not. No, it isn't. It's actually a perfect example because, you take things to a logical kind of extreme to illustrate a point. That's what people do. That's what I do all the time because it's useful to see the end of where that logic or where that slippery slope or whatever where it goes so that people can see and understand what you're actually doing here, trying to justify your horrible decisions and behavior of the entire world, the politicians, and even the very everyday average people who were on the street arguing and spitting on and insulting and cursing and even wishing death upon people like myself who didn't wear a mask or take a vaccine, injection, chemical injection. So, there's no there's no excuse for that. And no matter what a scientist says or a politician says or anybody says, there is no excuse for that at all whatsoever. There's no defense. There is no defense. Okay? You were afraid, you felt like you were under duress because you were going to die or something. That's maybe the closest thing to defense, but it still is wrong. And what you did is unacceptable. There was actually no one holding a gun to your head or something like real duress. Um, and why? Why is this the case? Why is this how far you have to go? Because that's freedom. That's freedom. Okay? And ultimately, um, it's my sovereign choice. It's your sovereign choice to choose about your health and your body and how you're going to live your life on these fundamental basics, okay? No one gets to tell me what's healthy for me and what I get to do or not. That could affect my physical life, the rest of my life, my family, my children, my wife, whoever, for the rest of our lives. And that's what we're seeing, right? So it doesn't matter what authority says. You don't get to do that. That's a heinous, evil action, and there's no defense for it. You get it? No defense. This is what I would tell Pierce or anybody else or any common person on the street who thinks, "Oh, I wasn't, part of the authority of pushing this thing." Yeah, if you were wearing masks and take the injection, and then you were part of it actually. You're all part of it. You're all part of it. There's no escaping that. Now, the reason people don't want to hear that, and people don't even want to say it, if anyone even really realizes it on the alternative news side or conservative side, is because yeah, it's harsh. It is harsh. But that's the reality. The reality of what they did was very harsh. Okay? It's very severe. It's deadly severe. And to say that me speaking this is harsh or severe, anyway, I don't want to keep repeating myself. It's a severe life or death situation, okay? That's what these things are. Freedom is a life or death situation, okay? Propaganda is life or death matter of fact, lying, okay? These things, manipulations, they are life or death. And um, so, bring me on, all right? I want to go on some of these podcasts and share what I think and just God be with me because people don't go far enough. People don't go far enough. So ultimately, we're supposed to be all in this together, right? We're all human beings, okay? Everyone's preaching for how many decades about equality of color, of race, of sex, of everything. All right, cool. And for the most part, I agree with that stuff. But so if we were together in this situation and there was a real deadly disease going around, pandemic, um, that's really actually really something to be scared of and really something, you know, ravaging us and killing people, and we were in this together, then despite my opinion of where I'm going to make my choice, okay, to affect my life and my prosperity, my family, despite the choices, we would still be in this together. We would still be in it together. Don't you understand that? And any other opposing position, well, then you take an evil position where you see me as an enemy, and that's not true. Okay, someone like myself who is anti-mask and anti-vaccine or injections, it doesn't mean I'm anti-choice for people to take it if you want to, or to wear a mask, or to live in a plastic bubble, or to isolate yourself in your home and not to visit grandma while she's about to die and she'll never see your face for the last time. I support your freedom to do that, and I think basically all of us do on this side of the fence, but this side of the playground. But I would strongly, strongly, you know, urge you not to do that. But I would support it's your free choice, and I would pray and plead and beseech to you not to do those things. But you can do what you want, and if we're in this together, that's how you are. And if you think I'm a person who's harbinging some deadly disease that's going to kill you or your grandma if you get too close to us, okay, we're still in this together. Okay, you don't put me out and make me lose my job and lose my livelihood and wish death upon me. You go and you do what you need to do. So you hide yourself at home. You lose your job. Lose your job. Okay, you don't get to put it on other people like that. I get to go to the grocery store and buy freaking food and necessities for myself and my family, and I get to have my job, and because these are guaranteed. They must be. There's no guarantees obviously from society, from government or whatever for these freedoms. They're guaranteed from God. We possess them all in ourselves, within ourselves. Every man and woman to make these choices ourselves, and we must live up for them and we must uphold them. Everyone. This is the ultimate truth that I believe. You know, outside authority and government or any messiah figure or anyone to save us or help us whether it's alternative news people, conservative people, Republican, Democrat, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Okay, we have to stand up as sovereign people, glorious individuals who each are warriors and priests who stand up and treat all men and all women equal with respect and love. Um, it doesn't mean everyone's going to heed that call, but that is the call that we all have before us every day, and every life that's ever lived. And that's, I believe, the ultimate way to maintain truth and true glory and true love and true, brotherly love and familial power and, grace and justice. Um, it must be always in the court of the people. It must be always in the hands of every man. Every man needs to be, reach out your hand to the next man to pull him up, and he shall pull up his family. Everyone needs to be doing that. This world is full of people who care for themselves and look down upon others. And when they see the man reach, drowning and reaching out their hand for help, they look away. They pull back their hand and they don't help. They go and they care for themselves. That's evil. That's evil. And yes, the world's full of that, but not totally. There are a lot of good people. There's a lot of goodness. There's a lot of beauty and love and justice and righteousness and glory, but it could be so much, much more. I want to believe, if we could, we have to stand up, guys. We have to stand up to this stuff, and we have to really heed the truth. And I'm not saying it's easy, but um, it's necessary. It's necessary, and it will be worth it. Um, immensely, immensely worth it to do these things. So yeah, if we were together on each other's side, you know, you wouldn't have put us out of society. So no matter what, it doesn't matter what scientists say, what politicians say. There's no excuse for it. You put us out. You said it's okay for you to go and die. You had hate towards us. You didn't have love, and there's no defense for that because people get sick every year. People die every year. That's a part of life, and these are why there is no excuse. Okay, because you cannot prevent all death. You cannot prevent all sickness. It's impossible. And if it were even possible, you know, there would absolutely be, you know, near unfathomable consequences that would come with even the possibility of that. And and um and so, it's just something that you can't dream about, or you can't make these mandates and decisions on something like that. You can't. The common life and reality that we know it today and have for all of our existence as we know it is that people get sick, people die, people of all ages. Sometimes a young person, falls off a horse and hits their head on a rock and dies. Sometimes someone chokes on a bone while they're eating turkey and dies. And those are horrible things, but it happens, and you can't eradicate all that, right? You just can't. You're gonna say, "Oh, never, never, never cook or eat or sell a piece of meat that has bones in it again. Ban it because someone choked on it." You can't you can't ban and eradicate and control out all forms of risk. That's all tyrannical. It's all evil. It's all absolutely opposed to, as what I was just saying about the freedom of the individual, the sovereignty, the glory, the justice, the majesty of all peoples. Okay, I'm not saying all people will live up to that, but that's what it is, and that's what you offer. That's what you strive for, and that means always putting yourself out for them, for others. Everyone always should be pulling each other up, never just pulling yourself up. Where's the glory in that? Is that not the message in the Bible? You do things for yourself? You just selfish? There's no glory in that, right? Or, you love those who love you. And what did Jesus say? Well, where's the glory in that? What's special about that? Everyone does that. Even evil enemies, and haters of mankind and all these tyrants and whoever, they do that too. They love each other, they love themselves. So to be able to go through and not have enemies, um, as much as possible, truly, truly, um, to pick up every man. And that's the highest goal. That's the highest goal. So, okay, I'll just leave that there for now, guys. I I would really like to try to reach out and contact, I don't know how to do it, how to do that, but I should just make more videos. Um, but I guess it's like they say. Anyway, I'll just leave that for now. But I have a lot to say about these things, and I hope I've made the points. And I believe that if the points have come through me, it's not my points anyways. It's things that I've been taught, and any true inspiration or true truth, you know, spoken or acted by any man or woman, I believe, is under inspiration from God, because we're just we have a capacity for that, but it's channeled through us. So sometimes we're able to channel such things. Some have a gift for it more than others, and some people are in touch with it or in tune with it more than others. But all man has a capacity for that, and that's what you want to. That's the goal, is to manifest that and to multiply that. Um, so that's why, yeah, it's no one can really even take credit for the amazing things that they might be able to share or see or spread or do. Um, in a way, in a way, there's a lot to be said about this stuff. So, God bless you. I love you. And okay, I hope we can all take more action for this, guys. We need a collective, conscious action, not just sitting around. We need to pull each other up, and it might be scary. I'm sure it will be very scary, but really, if you're in the right space, I think we can do it. But we have to really be clear about what it is we're going for, and you know, like the power of preaching, the power of speaking the truth to elevate such a great portion of mankind to take action, yes, against the evil and against the tyrants, and to stand. And if that means war, you know, I think there's a discussion to be had for that. Um, I believe in taking in non-compliance and taking action, and you might have to defend yourself, but I don't believe in going on the attack. But I do believe in taking action, affirmative action, and decisive action to out to oust evil, and to expose the secrets in the darkness, and the chambers of those who yield power and affect our lives and the world in the darkness and in secret. And that's just a plain truth, guys. And you might think, well, they have the freedom to do what they want, to make all their money, to be secretive. Uh, yeah, they have the freedom, but not when it comes to propagandizing information out to the whole world, which is a form of force. It's a form of combat and warfare. When you put propaganda out, that's a form of aggression. That's a form of force, because there's lies that affect you in a negative or manipulative way. And so anyone who has these riches and these power and all these abilities, and own so much, they need to be under the highest scrutiny. They need to be under scrutiny from the people. And that's not a wrong thing. It's not an attack to go to them and to go to these institutions and to demand, and not just demand, but to enforce that that their that their ways, their methods, their devices are exposed, are known amongst the people, are known, um, for their righteousness or their derisiveness, um, Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Like, this is what we need to do. And, you know, what that would look like exactly, I don't know. But I think I'm describing it partly. And the more, I think the more we can be, the more we're in unity about these ideals and these truths and these powers, I think the better it would be. When you have little pockets, when you have pockets of resistance, which are generally on each other's side, as we have seen over the last couple of years, um, there's it's not very effective. It's not very effective because all these little pockets have variations of ideas of how to different ideas or variations of the same ideas of how to affect the change and what to do and what to say, and too many chiefs, not enough Indians, and many of them fall short of some of the glory and the truth and the power of what of what I believe, what I'm talking about here, and God's truth and the real reality. And so they're not very effective, if they're even effective at all. And we saw that, we've seen that, and it's not just the last couple of years. It's been the whole time, ever since the fall in the Garden of Eden, or wherever fall from glory of past days. Whether that's Tartaria, Atlantis, ancient history, Alexandria, Babylon, whatever ancient civilization you can think of that you may think it was like a glorious past, who built the pyramids, or whatever great obelisks or monoliths or monolithic structures, or whatever might have existed in the past. Okay. um, and I do believe in those things myself. It's really, really fascinating subjects. You should look into those things. But we need to be unified as much as possible. We need to come together and weed out these differences. And unfortunately, people tend to learn the hard way, if not almost exclusively the hard way, which is the really, really tragic part. But guys, the more unified we can be, I think the more peaceful of a transition the whole thing can be. And maybe that's naive. Maybe it's idealized. I'd rather be naive and idealized than, you know, malicious and intent on creating, you know, strife to begin with. But time will tell. I'm not the arbiter of all these things or anything. But I really hope we can have conversations. I want to get out. I want to meet with people. I want to talk. I want to speak, and with people who are really strong and brave and clear in their beliefs on these things, to understand what we're really up against, and to understand what we're up against in terms of our own selves, our own weaknesses, our own, you know, that's what we need to do, guys. We need to really come together and take action. If everyone in Canada, for example, decided, um, and forgive me, my ignorance of knowledge of the details and exactness of central banking and fiat currency. I have very general, ideas and knowledge about those things. Um, but if everybody, like the vast majority of people, which is what, the regular population of Canada is, not the authorities and governors and rulers, but if all the common people came together and decided, that's it, the inflation, the deficit, these financial problems, taxation, whatever it is, these core root problems, which are subjugating all of us Canadians, all of these millions of people. It's a subjugation, and are being, if we all decided that's it, what's done. We're not putting up with it one more day, and we all unified and came together, and in one accord went out to these institutions, go to these banks, go to these places, and we go inside and we expose what they're doing, and we, you know, take over and destroy what we have to in their system. It's not about blowing up buildings and stuff, but like just taking it over. That's it, and exposing it, and and you know, yeah, I guess forcing an outcome, a better outcome. Um, I think that that would, I think that that would work. I don't see why it wouldn't work. That's what we need to do. That's what I see. Um, so all our little tiny protests here and there, where we're just like rabble, we're just rabble, and we're ineffective and we're divided, and as I say, is most of these alternative news sources and conservatives and people, whoever, um, even I suppose maybe there's good liberals. I guess there must be some good liberals or libertarians. I'm sure some of them seem to be more understandable of these things, but um, yeah. Anyway, sometimes I lose my track of thought, but I didn't want this video to be too long, but this is the way I am. I just talk, 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 and it's all relevant, it's all pertinent, and I believe that this stuff is really, really, this is what people need to be at the heart and core of the issues, guys. We really need to come together, stop turning aside from each other, stop turning aside from the real core issue. I think so much of, I have to say now, is like, why do people turn away from these things? And I'm not ruling myself out. Whenever I say any kind of, generally like a criticism, or it's not a criticism, but like speak of a weakness, um, or error of ways, yeah, I haven't said the word, but if I said like a sin, or mistakes, whatever that people make, almost universally, I'm included in those things. Okay, so I understand. I'm not from a high pedestal here. I make freaking mistakes all the time, every day, uh, major regrettable mistakes, and and I suffer for those, and people, you know, and there are other people that suffer from them by me, and so so I don't mean to come from some sort of lofty perch or something, looking down at anybody. As I said, that's the entire point, is that you don't do that, is that you see all men as brethren and equal, all women as sisters and equal, as children of God, and that we need to all unify, and we need to all lift each other up, um, all together, guys. You know, the Bible says, like, uh, and if you don't like the Bible, like, I don't understand this stuff. Just, if what I say is true, if the scripture in the Bible is true, then don't get hung up on, oh, it's the Bible and it's edited by men. If it's true, it's true. It doesn't matter what the source is. It doesn't matter where the source is. Okay, as long as it's true, and you need to. I don't know. So maybe that's just totally out of our human hands, and it's up to God. And you know what? That's probably the truth. But we could go a long way in meeting Him there. Um, um, Doing a lot better than we're doing. But every man, every woman has their part in the whole. In the way, in the Bible, the way it's described is that it's like the body of Christ, and it's a many-membered body. Okay, so it's one body, but there's millions of people, or however, a billion people. I don't know the exact number. No one knows the exact number. Um, but it's a many-membered body, and it describes, that, like, shall the hand say to the foot, I am superior to you? You're walking in the dirt all day, and I am articulating and gesticulating. I'm superior. I don't need you. Well, no, darn right. The hand needs the foot, right? How is he going to walk around, and every other thing? So you get the point, right? Every part of the body is important and necessary, and that's what is described in the Bible. That it's a many-membered body, that the full body can come to its fullest glory and fullest function and power where every part of the body is in its place. So that's a big part of Christianity that I was taught and raised with. I think in the New Testament, but it's all through the Bible, is to be in your place, be in your place, function, operate, be content, be acceptance, be humble. It's humility. Being in whatever your place is, you need to be humble to be able to operate an office. And people think, oh, the feet, the lowly servants or whatever, and don't think that servants are lowly. People need to get these things out of their mind, but that's what people tend to think is, oh, and the rulers are the ones with all the uh, the ability to just do what they want, and they're better than others. But that's not really how God sees it. That's not really how the truth, because the true people in those kind of a ruling power position, like the eyeballs, the eyes direct so much of our action, and you might say, oh, the eyes are certainly better than the pinky finger or the baby toe or whatever, maybe little body parts that might seem not as important, but it's all important, guys. Um, and the point I wanted to say is that humility is even more important as you get into a position of any sort of, I don't know if authority is the right word, but uh, really direction, or vision or guidance of, for the mass of people, for a large amount of people, or for the body. So the humility is even more important, and this is all rife all throughout the Bible, in the way I was taught, and that God demonstrates it Himself, right? The ultimate humility, of sending Jesus, His only Son, to die for us, like the ultimate humility. All powerful God sends Himself in the form of a Son to be slaughtered in the worst way by sinful humans. So that's the ultimate, right? It's the ultimate humility. So this is how we need to come together, guys. We need to come together, be in our place, let God's power and truth radiate from from within us, from without us, amongst us, together, to be each in our place, to be meek and gentle and humble in our place, no matter what our place is. Different people have different gifts in different places. And the more we can do that and come to these places, and it's not about religion, it's not about, playing church, and authority structures and all this. It's not about any of that. It's beyond that, guys. It's about the true reality of the fact that I speak here before you now. That's just, it's happening. It's happening right now. And it's that power of the moment, where nothing, that's what it is. So, um, that's what we need. That's what I believe we need to do. And that at some point it will happen. And maybe there will be a great awakening. Obviously people have been talking about these types of things in various forms